Right, we are live. Welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand. This week coming at you from Phoenix International Motor Speedway. I guess they've renamed it, huh? The ISR Raceway, something like that, fellas?
Something like that. Got news of that this week, so I don't really know.
Well, we've got a good crew in here with us this afternoon, and there's a lot to go over this week. A lot of races, a lot of bonus points, a lot of things going on. Let's get right to it. We'll go down and start with Monday night. We've got a little something new going on. BSR Axel Foley running a series on Monday nights. It's in the INXS 15 mod. This last Monday was the very first race, and our very own BSR Brain Fade took the win in that series. And I've also got the current point standings up there for you. Looks like Brain Fade holding the top spot. Chevy Chase second down by 3. Poor Boy third down by 4. Tied for 4th place. BSR Texan down by 4. And Nelly rounding out the top 5 down by 6 points. I'm guessing that would also likely be the top 5 finishing order there. Pockets, you got that?
Yeah, that's pretty close to it. Yeah, you got Brain Fade with the win. You got second place BSR Chevy Chase, third BSR Texan, fourth BSR Poor Boy, and rounding out the top 5 BSR Nelly for that race there at Michigan on Monday nights.
What do we got coming up there next week on Monday night? What's the next race?
We are headed to Martinsville. A little paperclip short track action there at Martinsville on the Monday Nitro Series. Brought to you by BSR Axel Foley.
And Axel's got some pretty cool prizes going out for that series. I think there may be I think there was mention of a shifter, a few other things that are going on. We tried to get Axel in here with us this afternoon, but he's a pretty busy guy. He didn't have the time to come in and go over all that stuff with us, but maybe we can get him in here next week. On to Tuesday night. We're off Tuesday. We don't really do anything. We're going to probably be fooling around in the future, maybe with the road course series on Tuesday nights. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to do something on Tuesday nights. Probably throw up some road course racing. We've been batting that around a little bit. That's usually what we do in our off nights. Just a little gathering of sim racers, just to come in, have some fun, do something we don't normally do, and throw up some different road courses, just give them a try and stuff like that. So be looking for that in the future. We'll be making some posts and stuff on the day of the event for anybody that wants to come out and join us, do a little road course racing, turn left and right.
Well, Wednesday night, moving on to Wednesday. Normally we run our truck series Wednesday night, and the trucks were off this week. So in place of the trucks, since they have quite a few off weeks, don't run nearly as many races as the other series do, we're going to run a little bit of dirt in the off nights of the truck series. And this past Wednesday, we ran at the Springfield Mile, which is kind of a meet and greet. Wasn't a points race, no points yet, but we had quite a few drivers in there and had a lot of fun. And BSR Nelly brought home the win there, Springfield Mile. This is not Nelly's car. I don't think he's got a car painted for this mod yet, but I'm pretty sure he'll have one by next week. And I believe Larry had mentioned, is that right, Larry? We're probably going to be running the Springfield Mile again next week for the first points race.
That's right. We're going to return to the Springfield Mile for our first points race.
Nelly, did I see Nelly joined us here in the booth?
Yes, you did.
How was that race Wednesday night? You took the win there. I know I was running in practice. You had a good, strong car, and you were fast, man. I imagine you were probably up close to the front the whole race, huh?
Yeah, pretty close to the front, yep. I think I went to the back once. I spun somebody out, and our rule is go to the back. But I got lucky. Made it to close to the front pretty quick.
I know Larry is great in the dirt, so I'm sure you had to be battling with him sometime during that race to be able to pull off that victory.
Larry got stuck in traffic. What
Yeah,
happened to him?
Yeah, he was battling pretty hard there. I think Rick Craddock, the number 22,
Yep.
out of the Bluegrass State, Kentucky, was up there in second place battling with Nelly. Rick Craddock made a rare appearance on Tuesday night. And that series will be known as the DrunkenCowJerky.com Dirt Track Series. And I noticed that Killis got a picture of a modified car up there. That's actually going to be in the late model, so don't let that picture fool you. It's going to be in the late model series. So, yeah, it's going to be, we're going to put that on the schedule and fill in those off nights of the Wednesday night truck series, also sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky. And we're going to do some dirt. We've got Larry Yeager on board as the series director. He's a expert in all things dirt related, so we're glad to have him with us helping us run that show. So it's going to be something that everybody's going to want to check out.
Well, it looks like I got the wrong mod there. I knew it was 358, and that's what I pulled up in the game was the 358 modified, and I guess it's the 358 late models.
Yes, that's correct.
Nelly, you did run the 0 car though, correct? At least
Yeah.
I got the car number right. Yeah, I did something.
You did, yeah, you did get that right. So we'll give you bonus points for that.
So we've got no
The
points.
game picked the car for me. I didn't pick the car.
Well, you drove it pretty well. So, and if we're going to be running that track next week, I'm sure we can look forward to probably seeing Nelly in victory lane again in that series.
Not if I got anything to do about
Well,
I was gonna say,
you know what I'm
not
going to
always
say,
the
but
fastest car that wins.
I'll tell you what, there was a lot of good racing going on. Terry Scott had a really good piece. Pockets, not usually good in the dirt, had a pretty good piece. He don't let him fool you. He was running pretty good too. I was kind of disappointed that Texan didn't make it back, kind of technical difficulties, but yeah, he had a pretty good piece too earlier in the day. So, yep, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's a fun track. I was enjoying running that practice, and I don't think I had anything for you or Nelly, but I might have probably had a top 5. There were quite a few cars, like you said, that were running pretty good there in the dirt.
Well, the big thing there is track position is king. You get out front, you can kind of fend everybody off as long as you just don't make a mistake and run a nice, steady, solid line. That's kind of what Nelly did. He just got up in the front, didn't make too many mistakes, and was able to hold on.
Yeah, exactly, Larry. Who made that setup for that? You? Whoever
Yes,
did
sir.
it was a pretty nice setup.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a great setup. Nice and under control. Not too much sideways. Not a whole lot of spinning out there. Moving on to Thursday night, our Cup Series, and feature here at Phoenix, sponsored by Bomb Squad Racing, Drunken Cow Jerky. Please visit www.drunkencowjerky.com for the finest craft-made whiskey and beer-soaked beef jerky on the planet.
that's it.
Booyah! Killer Jules brings home the win at Phoenix. He had a fast piece Thursday night, and he was loose, boy. A couple times I was racing with him. He was right in front of me. I'd see that car wiggling back and forth, but he kept it under control all night long and was able to bring home the victory at Phoenix. Great job, Killer Jules.
Yes, it was. KJ, you know, we've all been anticipating KJ's first appearance in Victory Lane, and he pulled it off there Thursday night at Phoenix, and following close behind him, had a great race, led 85 laps of 125, was our man in the 30 car HB Hardy, followed closely in third place by a driver out of Alabama, Steve Looney, in the 21 car, then the 22 of Rick Craddock, and rounding out the top 5 once again was BSR Nelly.
Now let's take a look, before we go to the points here, let's take a look at some statistics for this series since we've had a few races in. Looks like we've already got, 4 races, 4 different winners. Got Chevy Chase up there, BSR Momo, Killer Jules, Robert Balcom, all with 1 win in this series. Top 5s, you got Steve Looney up there holding the top position with 3 top 5s out of 4 races. Nelly, Rick Craddock, Rick Johnson, BSR SS Joba, HB Hardy all having 2 wins. two top fives. And then you got Kilojoules, BSR Texan, myself, BSR Axel Foley, and BSR Chevy Chase all in there with one top five. And it looks like quite a few in there in the top tens. Your polls over there, Keith McLean, 2 polls. I think he would be up a lot higher in the points. I believe he missed one race. I don't think he was here for the Phoenix race, but 2 polls out of the season so far. That's pretty good. DJ Champ's got a pole. HB Hardy with another pole there. And you can see Robert Balcom with the average finishing position first. I believe he's only made one race so far. That's why he's up there with that first place average finish. That was his one win. Steve Looney, who's made all the races, second there, average finish 8.25.
BD4, BSR Momo,
Yep.
in third. I'm liking this average finish position because there I am in fourth of the 8.50. I could improve on that, but I'm still kind of proud of it. So, yeah.
Chevy Chase right there tied with the averaging out the 8.5, finishing out the top 5 there. Rick Craddock right there in the same number. And if you go down to the DNFs, some of the guys who have had some bad luck so far in this series, like Quack, 3 DNFs already. That's tough luck for 3 out of 4. Didn't finish. BSR SR5 with 2, Aussie Bill with 2, Manny D with 2, and a few other drivers there that, HB Hardy, you see with that 1 DNF, that's going to hurt him, a little bit in the points having that DNF, even if he's had some good finishes in some of the other races. Let's take a look at the points in this series so far. And look there, BSR Chevy Chase out in the lead with BSR Pockets only 2 points behind. Tied for second place there. Rick Craddock also 2 points behind. Steve Looney around top. He's in 4th place, down by 3, and Nelly rounding out the top 5, down by 4 points. So after 4 races, top 5 separated by 4 points. That's pretty daggum close.
That's pretty good. And this series continues its march west as we land in California Speedway this coming Thursday night for race number 5. The series going all the way across the country, all the way to the left coast, headed to California. So we'll be there Thursday night.
California, great track. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get there in both series that we're going to run California. That's going to be a great race. Tracks always produce some really good fun racing.
Absolutely.
So moving on to Friday night. Another showcase series sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky. We run the Xfinity series schedule. We run the INXS 15 mod also at Phoenix this week. And wouldn't you know it, your boy Hardy bringing home the win at Phoenix. And that's 2 wins in a row in this series for HB Hardy. So that's, he's on a roll here, kind of like Kevin Harvick in the regular NASCAR series, HB, and this INXS 15 series. He's on a roll here, and he's winning some races. You with us in the booth here, HB?
This guy's mic muted. I have stepped away.
Yeah, he must be away.
Oh, no, I muted it from earlier.
Well, congrats on the win Friday night in the Xfinity series, man. Tell us a little bit about that race. How'd that go for you?
It was a pretty solid race. Didn't really have any too bad mistakes. Julian and I, or Kilojoules, got out to a lead and kind of kept it out there so we could kind of run at the pace we really wanted to. And at the end, it came down to pit stops. And he and I were basically running the same setup. And for whatever reason, whoever of the 2 of us was out front was in much better shape. And whoever was behind, it was a lot tighter. And I think we got off sequence on purpose to kind of break up the monotony and get a little bit different tire strategy, because the CTS tires are a lot more forgiving. And we got out, and he and I pitted. He got a really good pit stop.
Man.
Oh, I'm sorry, my button's messing up. He
Messed up again.
Yep. Sounds like Hardy's having a little technical difficulty there. I know those two definitely were in a class of their own Friday night. There was a few of us that could, you know, not stay with them, but not fall too far behind anyway. And what he's talking about with that dirty air, that's no joke there. The car in front and that clean air, they had a nice loose free race car, but you get behind another car and that car tightens right up, and it just makes it that much harder to drive. Um, Great job on the win there, Hardy. Who rounded out the top five? Pocket?
Well, it looks like only 6 cars ended up being able to remain on the lead lap, and second place was KJ Kilojoules, and the 029 car followed to third place by Nelly. Once again, saying Nelly way too much here. Fourth place,
Thanks,
BSR
Pockets.
Texan. You're very welcome. And rounding out the top 5, BSR Terry Scott from Portage, Indiana. So that rounds out the top 5 there for the Friday Night Xfinity Series, INXS Series, also sponsored by DrunkenCowJerky.com.
And we are moving on to California, I believe, in that series next week as well.
Absolutely. Yep. I think we're all moving. I think the whole circus is moving to California. So Thursday and Friday night we'll be in California. Both of those races sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky. Glad to have Mark Heyman and Richard Heyman along with us for the ride. So we'll head out to California and see what we got.
Well, on Friday night after our INXS 15 series, well, there we go. We didn't take a look at the stats and the points yet, did we? We got some stats up here from the INXS series. HB with 2 wins his last 2 weeks in a row, and Rick Johnson's also got a win there in that series. With your top 5s, looks like Terry Scott and HB Hardy both up there at the top with 3 top 5s in that series. Kilojoules, Rick Johnson, BSR Texan all with 2, rounding out the top 5 there in your top 5 finishes. Average finishing position looks like Chris B. I think he's only made 1 or 2 races, finished 3rd place. He's got that top spot along with Rick Johnson there, but also averaging 3rd place finish. Terry Scott, BSR Texan, HB Hardy, all right there, averaging about a 6th place, 6.5 place finish. And look to your bad luck roll down here on the DNFs. Looks like Aussie Bill, Manny D both have 2 DNFs in this series so far. And Kilojoules, Danny Hardy, HB Hardy with also a DNF in this series. I believe HB, you had some trouble at Daytona this season. That kind of hurt your points. You've got the 2 wins, which made up a lot of ground from having that 1 DNF. So that's definitely helped you out. We move on and take a look at the points. You can see, looky there, BSR Texan in the lead. And HB Hardy with those wins has gained a lot of spots here in the last couple of weeks, moved up to 2nd place, only down by 2 points. Terry Scott in 3rd place, down by 4. BSR Pockets in 4th place, down by 5. And Nelly, there's Nelly again, rounding out the top 5, down by 11.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting points right there. So it'll only change week to week. So we'll see what happens as we head to California.
And on Friday night after the BSR race, we move to that's another BSR race, the Draft Masters Series. Super Speedway alternates between Daytona and Talladega. This past week, we were at Daytona, and BSR Pole Boy Roger Bevins took the win, that number 24 Monster Energy truck. You with us here, Roger?
Yeah, I am.
That's, I believe that's quite a few wins you pulled off here in this early part of the season. In a few different series, you've managed to pull off a win or 2. Nice job there, man. How was that race on Friday night over there at Draft Masters?
I struggled a little bit at first. I think I got toward the back. I got in somebody's accident there a little bit, but I gathered it up and let the crew fix the truck and everything. We got it together and back up to the front. And without help, you can't do anything. BSR Magoo helped me a lot. Me and Aussie Bill were up front battling it out, and he gave me a good race. And we always run good together, and it was a real good race.
Yeah, I believe there is 1 race left in that series. Is that right, Pockets?
Yes, there's one race left to round out the second season of the Friday Night Draft Master Series. And in that race Friday night, as poor boy alluded to there, Aussie Bill ran a good race, finished second, followed closely in third place by BSR Magoo. Then came Chevy Chase in the 096, Drunken Cow Jerky Ghost Car, Ghost Driver there. And in the fifth place, Les Alexander brings home a fifth. Very popular win for Les in the 97. So good race, good job for poor boy. Poor boy, give a shout out to you. Poor boy brought in some sharp paint jobs this week, and everybody was making some comments on them. Give a shout out to your painter there who hooked you up with those fancy cars you was driving this week.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Jason Wolf from Arizona, Death by Designs. That's the name of his company, and he does a real good job of painting all my cars. I mean, I got some people that paint from now and then, but he gave me a whole fleet for this new BSR tag I got, and we got a whole new crew, whole new team, and a bunch of brand new cars. Got to give a shout out to Brian and Kathy Bowles for this series, as well as Drunken Cow Jerky, Monster Energy, DC Shoes, and Bowles Trucking.
Absolutely. Brian and Kathy Voles, they are the title sponsor of the Draft Master Series on Friday and Saturday nights, and we want to give a special thanks to them for all that they do for sim racing and these series. Great prizes, all kinds of good stuff, and brings in all kinds of good racers, and we really appreciate all they do for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, speaking of prizes, we'll be talking about some of that stuff a little later on in this show after we finish off with the bonus points and whatnot. And we'll be talking a little more about poor boy Roger Bevins here. He's won a few of those prizes here recently. Let's move on to Saturday night. Or no, let's not do that yet. Let's first check out some statistics here from this Friday night series. With just one race left to go, looks like Joey Murphy, 2 wins. OSR or BSR Poor Boy, excuse me, BSR Chevy Chase and BSR Furco, all with 1 win in that series. Chevy Chase been dominating, only with 1 win, but look at that, 6 top 5 finishes. 2 more top 5s than anybody else. You got poor boy Joey Murphy both there with 4 top 5s. Me, BSR Texan, and BSR Pockets got 3 top 5 finishes. And Chevy Chase with those 6 top 5s that's just really gonna secure a good points lead for him. Also 9 top 10s for Chevy Chase. Poor boy though right behind him there with 8 top 10s, in those races. You can see over there in the average finishing position, looks like Joey Murphy's got that one at just over 3rd place. Chevy Chase at 4th place. I think Joey may have missed a race possibly. And Chevy with average 4th place finish over all of those races. I mean, that's hard to do. That's tough to do. That's a real great average there. And your DNFs, bad luck row there. Looks like Manny D with 3 of them. Aussie Bill and Brian Boyles and me, BSR Texan, with 2 of them. Quite a few guys down there with 1 DNF. Those DNFs, man, it's tough to come back from those unless you can get a couple of wins like HB did in the other series. Let's take a look at the actual points here in this series. Chevy Chase, of course, dominating with all those top 5, top 10s, average 4th place finish. He's in the top with a commanding 23-point lead over BSR Poor Boy. That's with just 1 race. But it's possible. We could have 20 plus drivers in there and Chevy could have that DNF. And, and as long as Poor Boy has a pretty decent race, he has a chance to come away with that championship. The BSR Pockets right there in 3rd, down by 41. BSR Hot Rod in 4th, down by 51. And Joey Murphy back by 114, rounding out the top 5. Actually, on the championship in this, after the end of this point series, I believe Brian is going to take the top 3 in the points, and we're going to run 1 more race, and that will decide the actual grand champion of the series. Is that correct?
That's right. We're going to run all these series concurrently on Friday and Saturday night. They're going to take the top 3 out of each segment, which is a 10-race segment. We call it a season. And they're going to take the top 3 finishers from each season, and we're going to put them all together in a group at the end of the year, and we're going to have a race and determine who is the baddest ass sim racer on Friday and Saturday nights in the Draft Master Series, sponsored by Voiles Trucking. We have a big, huge event at the end of the year with all of these people who finish in the top 3 of each one of these seasons. And we're going to get down to business and see who comes out on top. And like I say, you're looking at those standings right now, the top 3 that are currently looking to move into that. Chevy Chase, poor boy, myself, and Hot Rod. He and I are going to have to battle it out one more race and see who lands in that cutoff spot there at 3rd place to see who advances into that Grand Draft Master big event at the end of the year here.
And now then we can move on to Saturday night. BSR Team Series, currently in Season 34. We just ran the 2nd race of Season 34, BSR Team Series. And BSR Pockets brings that number 38 original flavored car home for Team Original, brings the win in. Now that shook up the points a little bit because after last race it was Team Hot that took the win and took the points lead. Well, we finished in 10th place. Our first driver finished 10th place in that race. So, with Original winning, we finished 9th.
Yeah, I think it was 9th.
Still a pretty big little points gap, and that definitely shook up the points in that series. Who rounded out? Can you fellas? Can you get the finishing order for the teams in that Pockets or Larry?
I don't know if I can. Can you get it, Larry?
You want to know which team won?
No, just the top 5 finishers.
Yeah, but that's what I'm at. So it was BSR Pockets won for the original, and then next was Teriyaki, which was Poor Boy. Then it was I did these last night. Hang on, I'll give you which flavor.
3rd place was Nelly.
Nelly, yeah,
he was Teriyaki.
Yes, but they want to know who the next flavor was, and that was oh my God, can't think. That's what I get for doing these points at 3 in the morning.
That's all right. There's only been 2 races behind us. We can take a quick look at the point standings here for these teams. Original with the win moves up 3 spots to take that top spot. And Beer Bacon stayed where they were, 2nd place. They're currently down by 3 points to Original. Hot took a big hit with that 9th place finish. We moved down 2 spots to 3rd place, down by 4. And Teriyaki also with that good finish. I believe you said 3rd, wasn't it, Nelly?
2nd.
They are only down by 4, tied for 3rd place.
Beer Bacon was the third flavor last night, Mr. Texan.
Well,
he finished 4th.
Yeah, the second, 3rd place, both Teriyaki drivers finished 2nd and 3rd. So
that's correct.
That led to the shake up in the points. Also, that helped shake it up a little bit more and turn this series kind of upside down as opposed to last week. And that's the way it's designed to work. Is that each driver for the team gets the point, or one driver for each team gets the point for their team. But like Teriyaki finished 3rd, well, they basically took some food off the table there for some of the other teams by finishing 3rd and lowering the points for the team that finished 4th and 5th and so on behind them. So yeah, Teriyaki finished 2nd and 3rd along with Original finishing 1st.
And Beer Bacon shot themselves in the foot because their lead driver didn't lead a lap, and the guy that finished right behind him did, which was another Beer Bacon car. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot that way too.
Yeah, but if those 2 could have just swapped positions before the end of that race, that's one more point they would have had. Only been down by 2.
Yeah, who led the most laps in that race?
That would be Mr. Pockets.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought. I wasn't real sure about that. I wanted to double check that and see.
Yes, you did. You had 29, as a matter of fact. I'm looking at it now.
Well, it's good for the 38 to get a win there from my teammates, HB Hardy and my man Manny D out of Rhode Island. helping me out there all night long, putting the 38 car in victory circle for original. We're glad to be there, glad to be a part of this series, glad to represent one of the 5 flavors and wolf bites for DrunkenCowJerky.com. So, yeah, good stuff on Saturday night there, season 34.
And also on Saturday night, after the team series race, we move over to another Draft Masters, the Speedway series. This series also close to coming to an end. This past Saturday, we ran at Richmond, and Robert Baucom took the win at Richmond, dominated that track. He, I think, HB Hardy was about the only driver there that could keep up with him. He was just fast. That's a fixed setup race, and Robert just knows how to get around that track. He was able to make that setup work better than anybody else, and he lapped almost the entire field. I believe Chevy Chase, he finished in second place, or third place. Was it Chevy?
Chevy finished second, followed closely by BSR Texan. Fourth place was Rick Johnson, rounding out the top 5. BSR Poor Boy. Everybody was a lap down except for the 096 of BSR Chevy Chase, as Robert Baucom, the Tennessee Titan, showed them how to get it done at Richmond night. There Saturday night in the Draft Masters Speedway Series.
Yeah, that race went caution-free at Richmond. Believe it or not, no cautions, 2 green flag pit stops, I believe it was, to finish that race. And Robert just managed those pit stops, managed that setup, and like you said, put the whole field, except for Chevy Chase, a lap down. I believe he was only about 4 or 5 seconds away from being able to lap Chevy as well. So real dominating performance there from Robert.
Absolutely, 140 laps. There was some attrition there. I hated to see Steve Looney in the 21, driver out of Alabama. He lost a motor in the race. He was going into that race tied with Robert for the points, and disappointing finish for him. But they're a strong team. Steve and his gang, they'll bounce back. They'll be back next Saturday to make up what they can, see if they can get back some of what they lost. Little attrition there, but 140 laps. No cautions. That right there, I'll tell you the class of the field that we have there on Saturday nights in the Draft Master Speedway Series.
Wow.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the statistics here in this series. I believe before we go over these stats pockets, what is the next race coming up in this series, and how many do we have to go?
The next race in this series, we are headed to
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Back to Vegas. We're bouncing around. We're all over the West Coast over there on the west side of the country, racing hard and all kinds of good things going on there. So, yeah, we'll be back at Las Vegas Saturday night, March 17th.
And I believe there's just 2 races to go, Vegas and one other track.
Pocono, yep.
Yep, Vegas and Pocono. A couple of good tracks to finish the season off. Looking like Rick Johnson, Robert Baucom, both with 2 wins in this series so far. Steve Looney, Joey Murphy, BSR Poor Boy, and HB Hardy all also have a win in this series. Looky there, BSR Texan, Rick Johnson, Robert Baucom, all with 6 top 5s in this one. Chevy Chase and Poor Boy rounding out the top 5 there with 4 and 3 top 5 finishes. Average finishing position, Joey Murphy with first place. That would obviously be the win that he got. He probably missed quite a few races this series. Robert Baucom's been at every race, average 3rd place finish. That's tough, man. 3rd place. Rick Johnson right behind him there with 3.5 average finishing position. Over in the DNF column, you got BSR Brian Boyles, Les Alexander. Both had some rough luck in this series with 4 DNFs. You got Noah Hart in there with 2, Aussie Bill with 2, Chevy Chase also with 2 DNFs. That's you don't see that very often. BSR Chevy Chase with 2 DNFs.
Oh, even I'm on that list. You don't hardly ever see me on that list. I hate to be on. That's the list I hate to be on right there. But even I'm there.
I'm on it too. So it's Hot Rod.
Yep.
Yeah, mine was last night. Technical difficulties. First one of the season.
Let's take a look at the points here. Robert Baucom in the lead. got Rick Johnson in second place down by 7. BSR Texan third place down by 13. Steve Looney in fourth down by 14. And rounding out the top 5 is BSR Hot Rod down by 18. Pretty close race still with 2 races left to go. It's only 7 points from first to second, and third and fourth only separated by 1 point there. So looking for that third spot. That's pretty close. I'm currently in there on that third spot, but you got Steve Looney sitting right there behind me, just 1 point out, and Hot Rod just a few points behind him. So 2 races left to go. Looks like we're going to be having a good little run for that third spot in that series.
Yeah, that cutoff spot at third place is heating up right there to see who's gonna be able to work their way into third place and before the next 2 races. And we get to Pocono. Time Pocono's over, that little story right there will come to an end, and we'll see who the top 3 are that advance to that end of the race series championship that we was talking about earlier. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
And count out that teriyaki car.
Let's go on and take a look at how our bonus points look so far this season for our 3 major series that run all season long. We go to the INXS 15 series. We had HB Hardy, who took another win there. He's been added there. He's got 2 bonus points in the win column, and also over to his totals. He's been added up. He's got his 2 there. We didn't run the truck series this week, so no changes there. And over to the Cup section, we had Kilojoules, who took the win. He's got his add there to the win column. He's got his 1 bonus point for that. And over in the totals, he's been added there. And keep in mind, in these win columns and race columns, I'm not. There's no specific order as far as number. When you get over the total bonus points, I've got those guys all lined up in their order of their car number. Makes it a lot easier to find your name on that list if you're looking for it. But you can see that right-hand list there, and that Cup Series already about halfway filled up, and we're only a few races in. So there's going to be a lot of points added into this, and I can't wait to get through this season, get into this chase, and see where we're going to stand.
Yeah, a lot of racers taking advantage of the bonus point system here. You can see that's a strong list of drivers right there that are all banking bonus points, getting ready to race the rest of the season, see how many bonus points they can get to carry into the final 10 races of each one of these series to vie for the championship. Sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky, and we'll see how it goes as the weeks progress here. We'll see the names get added to the list, the number of bonus points increase for the drivers, and you keep track of that here every week on the spotter stand, and we'll just follow this along as it goes, as the story unfolds, as I like to say, and we're keeping track of it for you, so just hang in there and ride along with us.
Let's take a look here. We've got a little something different for you here at the end of this. We're gonna take a look at some of the prizes that were handed out at the end of last season and some of the stuff that's already been handed out at the beginning of this season. It's just something we like to do here at BSR, and we're very fortunate to be able to do this thanks to all of our great sponsors. Drunken Cow Jerky providing some trophies and a lot of great beef jerky for our drivers here. Also, Brian Boyle's Trucking. They've done a lot for us here as far as providing plaques and prizes for drivers, and all of our other sponsors, which we'll get up here for you a little bit later on. But Chevy Chase, are you still with us?
No, he's
No,
not
he's
in here.
No
He's
longer
not here.
with us. Well, I believe he's first on the agenda here. Last season, truck and INXS 15 champion BSR Chevy Chase. It's a pic of him there with the 2 trophies that you see in front of him there. Those were provided by Drunken Cow Jerky. One for the INXS 15 series, one for the truck series. And of course, you can see all that great jerky right down there in front of him, he also received for those championships. And you can see a few of his other trophies back there behind him from previous seasons. I see that cup trophy down there. I've got one of those similar trophies that also came from Rick Craddock before he was doing the helmet trophy. These two trophies you see in front of you here, provided by Drunken Cow Jerky, the INXS 15 and the truck trophy, will pretty much be exactly what you see at the end of this coming up season. Whoever wins that INXS 15 championship will get that trophy. Same thing with the truck. And there will be some beef jerky provided along with that as well. That's correct, Pockets?
Absolutely. That's a perfect example of what you can look forward to as a champion of one of these series. You get some really nice hardware from Mark and Richard Heyman and all the folks down there in Dallas, Texas from Drunken Cow Jerky. They're going to throw you some hardware, and then they're going to throw you some software, some of that delicious Drunken Cow beef jerky, all the different flavors. They even throwed in some wolf bites for Chevy's dog, Lamont, Bonnie, and they do a great job for us. That right there will just give you an indication of how much they support us, along with prizes throughout the year at the select races that we determine we want to do something a little bit special for. Drunken Cow Jerky always steps up, throws out some great beef jerky prizes for everybody to enjoy, and we can't thank them enough.
Absolutely. That hardware you can keep around forever. You'll always have that as a reminder of that great season. And that software, unfortunately, that stuff is good and it's going to go fast. It's hard to keep that jerky around, but thank God you can always go back to www.drunkencowjerky.com and order you some more of that great beef jerky.
Yeah, I think you're going to throw up a picture of the Thursday night stuff too here, aren't you?
Yeah, that's next up. There is yours truly, BSR Texan, holding my Cup Series trophy there in my left hand, and the ring, championship ring, also provided along with that trophy by Rick Craddock and Real Tech.
Yeah, Rick has started a tradition back years ago with offering up the trophies for that. And when we inked the deal with Drunken Cow Jerky, Rick asked us if he could still be the one to provide the trophy for that series. So that's still a Drunken Cow Jerky sponsored series, but out of the goodness of Rick Craddock's heart and all the fine folks at Real Tech, he still provides that wonderful trophy and that ring for us. And he also provides other little few things for the racers. He provides the Iron Man series. I think you're going to throw up a little picture of Iron Man here in a little bit, but there you are right there, holding up that Thursday Night Cup Series champion helmet and ring from last year. And if y'all will look in the background, sitting up there on his mantle, that's two of the Drunken Cow Jerky trophies from the Thursday and Wednesday series of the 2016 season. So our man Texan, he's holding some hardware up on his mantle. He keeps going. Looks like he's gonna have to get a bigger mantle.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of those. I was gonna mention that. Those are from the 2016 season, the truck and INXS 15. I managed to do what Chevy did last season and won both of those. Also, you'll notice I'm wearing my Polar Bear 500 shirt there. That was provided by BSR, RJ Rusty, and the Medicine Chest Pharmacy. They put on that Polar Bear 500 race, December 17th, 2016. We ran that, and everybody who participated in that race got one of those T-shirts from RJ Rusty and the Medicine Chest Pharmacy. And I believe there were over 30 drivers in there. And that's over 30 T-shirts that he shipped out to everybody that was in that race. And, man, I love that shirt. The back of it has got the BSR stuff on it. The front's got the Polar Bear 500 stuff. And that's a great shirt. I wear it all the time. And I appreciate RJ doing that. That was a really great, that was a great race, a lot of fun, and, good gesture from BSR RJ. Also, if you look behind me there in that picture, you can just barely see it, but if you'll notice that little yellow car on the right-hand side, just between my shoulder and the helmet. Another prize that I won this last season, it was given out by another one of our sponsors and racers, BSR Scar. WLS Graphics was sponsoring the series, and I won that series. And a lot of hard work by another one of our members here, BSR Hot Rod, Larry Yeager. Appreciate all the work you did on that, Larry. Larry actually took that car. It was another car to begin with, because you can't really get those blank die casts anymore. So he had to take another die-cast car, send it all down, do a lot of work painting it and getting the logos on it. And it's got all the WLS graphics sponsors on it. It's got my number on it. It's got my name above the door. And that is about as cool as it comes. You've got your own, I've got my own die-cast car up there lined up with all the great drivers. I've got a number 201 BSR Texan die-cast car. So another great prize that was given out here, and I really love that thing.
Yeah, WLS Graphics, they along with the rest of our sponsorship partnerships, they do a great job. That T-shirt right there, that was we were all gracious enough to get one from RJ Rusty in the Medicine Chest up in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. That kind of kicked off a deal to where everybody really loved those shirts, and there's been some other shirts handed out. Voiles Trucking has got partnered up with WLS Graphics and got some T-shirts out for some of their events that they're holding. We've got some more on tap. There's going to be some T-shirts for the 3 drivers in the Saturday Night Team Series. There's just there's more die casts coming. I mean, if you look at what we've just been talking about, look at these trophies, these jerky prizes, these rings, these die casts, these T-shirts. There's nobody else out there doing this. You know that. Nobody else throws out what we put out as an appreciation for our drivers to come and support these series and give them something good to race for, give them good hardware, good beef jerky prizes, die cast, T-shirts. We do all of this, and the main thing here is that you're never asked to donate a dime. The guys at BSR and our sponsors work together hand in hand, and we do this for our drivers. We want this to be as a legitimate racing series as it can be, and you can't have a legitimate racing series without great prizes. And I think we beat everybody hands down in the prize department and in the racing department, and we have the best, cleanest, most respectful racers in sim racing, and we're just all proud to be able to provide that for everybody.
Absolutely. And we've got a pick here. This is the 2018 Trophy Championship ring. Rick Craddock has already got this ready to go. He sent the picture out. It's already got you can see on the plaque there, Bomb Squad Racing 2018 champion. The ring right there looks just about like the one I got from last year. That ring is great, man. It says champion on it. It's got the year there in the middle of it, and it fits great, and it's not a big, gaudy looking, it's something you could wear and be proud of it. It's a great looking ring. So yeah, whoever comes home with this championship in the Cup Series this season will be taking home that trophy and that ring.
Yeah, we throw that picture up there every year at the beginning of the season to show everybody what they're fighting for on Thursday nights, and that kind of ramps the competition up quite a bit there. People see that. They say there nobody else out there's got something quite that unique, quite that cool, and it really makes them want to get in there and race hard for that stuff. And like I said, our other series, our Wednesday and Friday series, Mark Heyman, he goes above and beyond. He goes out and gets some really, really exceptional trophies, and all of this stuff comes with Drunken Cow jerky too. You get that jerky, and you get to taste the fruits of your labor, so to speak. And like I said, along with the T-shirts from WLS Graphics, support from Voiles Trucking, Larry over there doing the die casts and stuff. It's just a great program we have going on here.
Absolutely. Couldn't couldn't ask for a better place to race, and just like you said earlier, a better group of guys to race with. All the drivers here at BSR, great bunch of guys, respectful drivers. Everybody has their incidents and their moments here and there. We all get mad sometimes, but this group is really great about handling that stuff well and not bringing it back to the track in the next week or the next race.
Absolutely, sportsmanship is the key, and we have great sportsmen and great competitors, great races, great prizes. We've got the complete package here, and we're proud of the work we're doing for sim racing.
I'd like to say something about the drivers. You said, what, 130 laps Saturday
140,
night?
yeah, 140
without a caution.
Yeah,
At Rich, that's pretty impressive.
Yep, sure is. We
there
thought
was
so too.
there was a good showing for that race too. I mean, we had a fair amount of drivers. It wasn't like it was a sparse.
Yeah, we didn't start with 7 guys that run that. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that was very impressive, especially at Richmond's short bull ring track like that with 140 laps, 0 cautions. And but that, like I've always said, that is directly related to the people we have in our series. That's the kind of people we look for. That's the kind of people we welcome. That's the kind of people we have in our races. And I was having a conversation with Robert not too long ago, and I told him that I firmly believe that the quality of the race depends on the quality of the people. And I think that's why we have great races, because we have great people and we do whatever we need to do to ensure that great people race here. That's the key. That's what leads to great races, is the great people that come in here and support these series.
We started that race last night with 13 people pockets.
Yep.
Absolutely. And speaking of great people, here is a picture of a plaque and Drunken Cow jerky. It was won recently by our very own BSR Hot Rod. This was for the Brian Boyles Trucking Shootout that we ran at the beginning of the season, just before Daytona started. That winner of that race, Larry, received 3 bonus points toward the chase for winning that race. Also, this great-looking plaque from Brian Boyles Trucking, and you can see the Drunken Cow jerky right there behind it. Another great prize here, and we thank our sponsors, Drunken Cow Jerky, Brian Boyles Trucking. And also here we've got another pick of another great person, BSR Brain Fade. We all know him, one of the funniest guys. He always making us laugh every week. He's got the quickest comments and comebacks to just about anything. All of us, we always come in with the same old, that's what she said, nah. But Brain, he's got some original stuff. He comes up with stuff you wouldn't think of, never heard of, and he keeps us rolling in there every night. Yeah, great guy. You see the Ironman trophy he's holding there. One of the things Pockets was talking about earlier. That trophy's given out by Rick Craddock and Real Tech for drivers that make every race in every series, as far as the truck, INXS 15, and Cup. Brain, one of the very few drivers who was able to do that last season and receive that Ironman trophy. That's a cool looking trophy. I have one of those, and I love that little trophy, man. I think it's cool. Also holding some Drunken Cow jerky there, and wearing his Polar Bear 500 t-shirt as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something right now. You look at all of these prizes and everything. That Ironman award right there that we were gracious enough to be awarded to by Rick Craddock and Real Tech. Let me tell you something. You put one of those on your desk and you've done something, because you have to run 96 races. You can't miss a single race. And that's the award for the Ironman that we've been giving away for we've been recognizing people who show the dedication to sim racing and to this league. And that's a very special award that Rick came up with. He picked that out. Everybody loves that. And that is something to be very, very proud of, because at the end of the year, in the middle of November, after it's all wrapped up and done, You know, you have your champions, and you have, you know, you have your point standings, and you have your bragging rights. That right there is one of the biggest bragging rights piece of hardware that you can ever get in sim racing. If you can put one of those on your desk, you've done something. You have made a major accomplishment and a major contribution to this group, and we're proud of our Iron Men that are fortunate enough to be able to get those rewards.
Yeah, and I know Brain Fade loves having that thing. Yeah, and I know he loves that jerky, man. That stuff is great. Everybody loves that stuff. Next up here, another great driver, great person. Recently added BSR member, BSR poor boy, Roger Bevins. There he is with his plaque, also received from Brian Boyles and Kathy Boyles at Boyles Trucking. He won the Daytona race in the Truck Series this season, and there was a plaque given out to all the winners of Daytona, whichever series they ran in. And this is Roger Bevins and his plaque from Daytona.
You know, it's funny. I'll give you a little backstory about the support that we receive from Brian and Kathy Boyles at Boyles Trucking. You know, we'll be in my office. We'll be going over the schedules and looking at things and adding races and making sure everything's right. And Brian will come in and we'll be talking about, you know, points and series and stuff like that. And Brian will say, well, what does second place get for that? And I said, well, currently the winner's the only one that gets something. Brian says, okay, well, second, third place, Boyles Trucking's going to put up a plaque and some Drunken Cow jerky. It happens just like that. I mean, he sees the need. He sees the people who deserve the recognition for the hard work that they do coming in here and supporting these series. And even though they don't finish in the second or third spot, I mean, the first spot, he wants everybody to get a little recognition, you know, because finishing second in one of these series is no joke. I mean, you've got to fight some of the best sim racers in the business just to even be able to contend with them. And Brian and Kathy, they see that, and they always step up and try to recognize those people and do what they can for this sport that we love, and we really appreciate all that they do. And that's an example of it right there. That's a plaque from the Draft Masters series that Roger was fortunate enough to win. I think he is the inaugural winner of the first Speedway. He's the champion of the first Speedway series there at Draft Masters, Super Speedway series at Draft Masters. So he advances to the end of the year championship race that we was talking about earlier. But yeah, Brian and Kathy and all of our sponsors, Drunken Cow Jerky, they do such a great job for us. And these guys, I know from listening to them and talking to them, that they are really appreciative. They're really proud to have these kind of awards. It just adds that little something extra. You know, a lot of people go to a lot of places and they race, and they may get a render, they may not. They get to see their name on the points, but we actually give you something to commemorate your support and your finishes and stuff like that. And we couldn't do it without our great sponsors and our great members, and we're just glad to have them all. Yes. One of the drawings, you know, yeah, one of the several drawings. It's just like I think it was Thursday night, and this is how this goes. This is how this has spread out. It's just become infectious. You know, Thursday night we're racing. BSR Axel Foley, he's in the race, and he says, there any prizes for tonight? And I said, well, we don't have anything scheduled for tonight. And he says, well, okay, I'm going to offer, I want to have a drawing and offer the winner of the drawing some Drunken Cow jerky. So you see, our members will go and buy Drunken Cow jerky and then re-gift it back to the racers. We've had that happen on several different occasions. I was fortunate enough myself. I'm gonna be getting an order rolling in here Monday from Mark and Richard Heyman and everybody down there in Dallas, Texas. We had a drawing a couple of weeks ago. My good friend up in Baltimore, Chris V, won the drawing, and he turned around and gifted it to me. I messaged him and said, "Okay, what 3 flavors do you want?" And he said, "Can I gift my drawing prize to somebody else?" And I said, "Yeah, you can do whatever you want to with it." And he said, "Well, I want to give it to you." And I was like, "Well," and I mean, it's just, that's the kind of selfless acts that you see here. People are
User joined your
they're
channel.
reaching in their own pocket, and they're supporting our sponsors and then giving it back to the people that come here and support these races. And that's just unheard of. I mean, it's just shows you what kind of group we have here, and we can't thank those guys enough for all of the things that they do. I mean, this is just an absolute fabulous group. Like I said, there's KJ with some Drunken Cow jerky. He won that from Momo. Momo goes, buys 20 bags of jerky, then turns around and calls me on the phone and says, "Hey, I've ordered 20 bags of jerky. I'm going to get with you, and we're going to have some drawings, and we're going to send it out to the racers. We're going to have a little drawing." So that way, we came up with that idea because we wanted people to get involved and not it be based on simply just their finishes. We wanted everybody to have a shot. So thanks to Momo and Axel Foley and Chris V and everybody.
Absolutely. A lot of great drivers that all pitch in and help out in one way or another. I believe there's been several of us, besides Chris V, that have gifted our drawing winning or race winning jerky to another driver. I believe you've done it before. I've also done it before. A lot of times if there's some of us that have been fortunate to win some jerky on separate, more than one occasion, we've had some before, and we've got some other drivers here who may have never got to taste any, never had any jerky. So, I won one drawing, gifted my prize to a driver who had never won any jerky before. Pockets, you also did the same thing, and I believe it was the last time we had a drawing. You actually went over and asked, and everybody that was in there at the time, and I believe there were close to 30 drivers, well over 20, everybody had some jerky at one point or another.
Yeah, there were I think there were 25 people in there, and out of all of those people, only one had not had any, and that's because he had just started racing. I think it was like his second week here. I think that was Keith McLean, and we said, "Well, hey, Keith, since you're the only one out of 25 people sitting in here who's never had any Drunken Cow jerky, we're not going to draw your name. We're just going to give it to you, and we'll draw 2 more names." Another example is over the winter in the BSR AK Memorial Series, our good friend BSR Magoo bought 2 cases of jerky. We had several drawings over the winter. And that's where a lot of those people got their first taste of Drunken Cow jerky, was out of the just the kind heart of Magoo wanting to support these series. And he sent me over 12 bags of Drunken Cow jerky that he paid for winning the AK Memorial Series. That was part of my prize. And Brian Voles, he's got some plaques. We're going to have a little presentation award dinner here before long in the upcoming weeks, and me and Brian and our good friend Scar, since we all live in the same area, we're going to sit down, we're going to have dinner, we're going to have a little presentation dinner, and going to get some plaques from Voiles Trucking, Brian and Kathy Voiles. So the prizes and the racing here is just over the top. I mean, it just can't be beat.
Yeah, I've got our final image up there, which is of BSR Magoo holding some of his Drunken Cow jerky up. That's the driver, one of the oldest members of BSR, and by oldest, I don't mean in age. I mean he was an original BSR member, one of the few that are still with the league. Been around for a long, long time, And like Pocket said, he's done a lot this past season in buying jerky on his own and holding drawings after some of the races to let some of the guys get some of this great beef jerky.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Magoo is close personal friends and went to high school with Mark Heyman. That's how the whole Drunken Cow jerky deal came about. Is that since I was friends with Magoo, Mark Heyman made a post about Drunken Cow jerky, and I seen it because he was friends with Magoo on Facebook. So I contacted Mark Heyman and ran the sponsorship deal past him, and Mark told me, you know what, that's a great idea. He said, I was actually thinking about asking you. He said, because y'all are the type of clientele that I look for, people that go to auto racing, rodeos, sporting events. That's his clientele. That's in his wheelhouse. And so he and I sat down and hammered out a sponsorship deal, and it all started with just Magoo being friends with him on Facebook. That's how that whole deal started.
Well, we definitely appreciate all that they do for us here at Bomb Squad. I've got our sponsors rolling across there now: Drunken Cow Jerky, Brian Bull's Trucking, Real Tech LLC, WLS Graphics, Medicine Chest Pharmacy, Hello Sunshine Hello, and back to Drunken Cow Jerky again. We really appreciate all of our sponsors, all of our great drivers, and all the great racing, everything that goes on here at BSR. You know, I have a great time doing this show with you guys every week. I really I enjoy the racing that we have, and I enjoy being able to do this and bring this out to all of our drivers and anybody else in the community who's interested. I don't know if Chevy is still with us, but anybody who may be interested in doing some racing here at BSR, if you've never raced here before and you might be interested, Pockets, can you tell them how they might could do that?
Yeah, just search Facebook, look for Bomb Squad Racing, and send that page a message, and we'll get you hooked up with Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is what we call our manager of guest services. He will give you all the info you need, check you out, and give you everything you need to that you need to come in here and be a part of all this. And just contact our Facebook page, and we'll put you in touch with Chevy, and he'll take care of you like he always does. He takes very good care of all of our guests, all our drivers here, and we appreciate all the hard work he does. So just find that Bomb Squad Racing page out there and send it a message, and we'll get you hooked up.
All right, I think that's about all we've got for this week. Any of you guys have anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to say before we roll out of here? All right, well, I guess we're good to go. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And once again, I'd like to thank Axel Foley for the great music he provided us with to go for our intro. And we're going to use this to roll us out of here for this week. It's been a great show, and we will see you again next Sunday about the same time.
Yep, I'm Big Panda, and for my co-host, Duck Butter Jones, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Later.
User disconnected from your phone.